Okay.
All right, welcome. Welcome to Farmdale's kindergarten orientation, our very first virtual kindergarten orientation. So as with many things, this is new to us, and we're excited to be able to connect with you to share the wonderful things that Farmdale has to offer to your incoming kindergarten student. Just so you know, we will be taping this. That way you are able to revisit it for more information. For those of you that were unable to attend, and also just to revisit it again as a reminder of the various bits of information we're going to share with you this evening. We are definitely a team at Farmdale, and I hope when you leave this kindergarten orientation tonight, you feel very comfortable with your first interactions with all of us, because we truly care about every student at Farmdale, and together, along with the parents at home, we are able to best meet the students' needs. We truly work together, and our goal is to create a positive learning environment for your child to learn, as well as for them to grow socially. This evening, you will have an opportunity to hear from some of our team members that your child will get to know when they come to school in August. Home and school communication is extremely important to us in Hempfield and at Farmdale. So I want to quickly share with you one way that you're able to stay connected with our school district as well as your child's school here at Farmdale. Our school district webpage can be accessed by typing in hempfieldsd.org. It will bring you to our homepage. On the homepage, you can find information and links at the top that will help answer any questions you may have. I highly suggest that you visit this webpage and become acquainted with where you can find answers to some of your questions. For instance, our school district calendar for the 2021-22 school year can be accessed by clicking on the right-hand calendar link. You can download a copy of the calendar, as you can see right here, by clicking. What you can also do is become more familiar with Farmdale by selecting a school, Farmdale Elementary School. And to get access to our calendar, as you scroll down, you'll see the upcoming events. You can also click on this link to see our full calendar. There's also some quick links below, contact information here. And we encourage you, with any of your questions that you're unable to find on our website, please reach out to us at Farmdale. Something important for you to know about the school day of your kindergartner is there are 2 sessions. We have an AM and a PM session. Our AM session is 9 to 11:45, and our PM session runs from 12:45 to 3:30. Some of you may have preferences to an AM or PM session, and if you've already registered your child, you would have noted that on the registration information. If you would like to change that preference, or you didn't make a preference selection, you can reach the school at 717-898-5595, and we'd be happy to hear what your preference would be. It's difficult for us to always honor everyone's preferences, but we will certainly take those into consideration. So please share those with us, as well as your reasoning. At this time, I would like to introduce you to one of our first team members you'll meet this evening, and that is Mrs. Deb Brodema. Deb is one of our school nurses, along with Miss Treadway, who is in our health room every other day. Miss Treadway is on the opposite days. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Mrs. Brodema.
Hi, we're so excited to welcome your kindergarten kids that are coming to Farmdale. I just want to go over a couple things. One of the responsibilities that I have is to maintain the state mandated school health record. We start it as soon as the kids enter kindergarten or first grade, and that stays with them until they graduate high school. So as part of that health record, the first thing is the health history. Closer to the start of school, you'll be receiving a form to fill out with any medical concerns that you might have for your child. Like main ones would be asthma, diabetes, seizures, that kind of thing. Anything like that that I need to know prior to the first day, though, please reach out to me, let me know, so we can plan ahead and get things in place for your child so they have a good experience at school. Yeah, anything that I need to know, just reach out to me. The second thing are the physical exams. Every child that is coming into either kindergarten, first grade, the state does mandate that they have a physical exam on record. So you can have that done up to a year prior. So if your child already had a well child check at age 4, we can use that one. Or if you want to use their well child check that they have at age 5, that is fine. If you need a form that you want filled out, you can find that. It's on the school, the Hempfield website. You can go under health services, student services, health services. You can print out a physical exam and use that form, or you can use whatever the doctor wants to fill out. That is fine as well. So that is one of the things that we require. The next thing we require is a dental exam. That is a one-page form that is also found under the health services website, or health services on the Hempfield website. That is just a one-page form that you would fill out. I don't need the dentist to fill anything out. You just fill it out so that I know that you have had your child visit the dentist. And then the final thing that the state mandates are immunizations. Your child does need to be up to date with their immunizations on the first day of school. If, like as you hand things in, I review things over the summer or as they come in. If immunizations are not up to date, if anything is missing, I will reach out to you and, just be in communication with what we need. But that is an important part of that health record. So we need to make sure that's up to date. If you decide to not get immunizations, I do need to have that exemption letter on file. So I would need to have that as well. One more thing that's not on the slide, medications. If your child is going to be taking any medications at school, I do need a doctor's order. I would need the medication brought in. Even over-the-counter medications like Tylenol, I need to have a doctor's order. So if you think that your child will be taking any medications at school, just reach out to me. I'll walk you through the process, make sure that everything's in place that we need. Just to let you know, I will need to leave this meeting a little bit early. I have another Zoom meeting that I need to join shortly. So if you have any questions, ask them at the end. If Mrs. Pearson can't answer them, my contact information is right there on this slide. Please reach out anytime and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks. Trisha, I believe you're muted.
At this time, we are going to turn it over to Mrs. Jess Ames and Mrs. Michelle Davis, our 2 kindergarten teachers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Davis. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Farmdale Elementary. Just want to let you know that we are so excited and looking forward to meeting our new little kindergarten friends and their families. Then I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us this evening. And now I'm happy to introduce you to my friend and kindergarten colleague, Mrs. Ames.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kindergarten at Farmdale. We can't believe the next school year is almost here. We have an introductory video for you all to watch. See you soon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Davis. And I'm Jessica Ames. And we are the kindergarten teachers here at Farmdale Elementary. We are looking forward to seeing you next fall. We have a half-day kindergarten program here at school, which means you either come in the morning and stay until lunchtime, or you will come after lunch and stay for the afternoon. While you're here, we will have some special area classes that you will attend. You will go to the music room, the art room, down to the big gymnasium for physical education, and we'll visit the library. When we come to school on the very first day, which will be August 24th, you will come for just one special hour that day. We have a very fun program planned for you, and you will bring one grown-up with you that day and spend just the 1 hour. And you will be notified as to which hour that is. We have 2 different hours in the morning and 2 different hours in the afternoon. So we'll have some fun things planned for you and for the grown-ups to hear a lot of really important information about kindergarten.
That's right. And so we know that you are doing a lot at home or maybe at preschool to help prepare for kindergarten. So just a few things that we as kindergarten teachers look for when our boys and girls arrive in August. We are hoping that you are really working on those fine motor skills and building up those muscles. Things like using scissors to cut paper or cardboard or even Play-Doh is a great way to build those finger muscles. Something else that we want you practicing is how to hold a pencil correctly and crayons correctly. Are you practicing writing your first name? I hope so, because we can't wait to see it. Make sure that very first letter is uppercase and the rest of your letters are lowercase. A couple other kindergarten readiness skills that are important for the boys and girls to be prepared for kindergarten are things like waiting your turn, realizing that we have a whole classroom of boys and girls, and so sometimes you will need to wait. Something else that is really helpful for us as kindergarten teachers is having your child be able to independently complete his or her bathroom routine. We do have bathrooms in our kindergarten classroom, and when they go into the bathroom, they need to be able to manage their clothing by themselves, any belts or buckles or zippers or buttons, and then make sure that they are independent in the self-care aspect of their bathroom routine as well. We are so excited to meet each and every one of you in the fall. We cannot believe that the 2021-2022 school year is almost here, and we hope that you are just as excited for kindergarten. See you in the fall.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, thank you very much, Mrs. Ames and Mrs. Davis. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our school counselor, Mrs. Allison DeArmond, and our instructional support team teacher, Mrs. Sarah Bear.
All right, good evening. And to reiterate what everybody has said, we are so excited to get to know your kindergarten students, and we just can't wait for the next school year to begin. Like Mrs. Pearson said, we really are a team at Farmdale. We all work so closely together. And part of that team is myself, the school counselor, Mrs. Allison DeArmond, and I work very closely with Mrs. Sarah Bear, who's our instructional support team teacher. She focuses on the academic concerns, which she'll go over very shortly. And I focus on the social emotional concerns of students. So anytime that there's any kind of social emotional concern or anything, my specialty, I will get to know your kindergarten students by doing lots of different things throughout the building. I am always in the lobby in the mornings, and so I will greet them each morning if they're there AM kindergarten. And then at PM kindergarten, I am there during bus dismissal. So I will get to know them regardless of if they're AM or PM through that way. But then I also provide individual counseling to students. I do group counseling in small groups in my office, and I also do classroom lessons. And Mrs. Bear and I actually go in together at the beginning of every year and do a classroom lesson. So we'll get to know your students right away. We normally do it one of the first days of school to kind of introduce them to Farmdale and get to know them. So we are so excited to get to know your children. On your screen, you'll see reasons that you might need to reach out to us. As far as social and emotional concerns, you would reach out to me. If there's any type of friendship concern, or if you're wondering if your child is making friends, or if you're concerned that maybe they're not doing well in that area, any social skills, managing emotions, changes in the home or divorce, feel free to reach out to us if there are any changes, just so that we can be aware, to be a support for them. If they might be struggling with separation, a lot of times our kindergarten friends have a tough time at the beginning of the school year with that separation. Sometimes it's the first time that they're really going outside of the home. And so that's something we deal with a lot of. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you're struggling with that at home. And any other type of parent resource that I can provide you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are more than happy to help. Now I'm going to introduce Mrs. Sarah Bear, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the academic concerns and being a helper in the building in that way, and ways that she can be a help.
Thank you, Mrs. DeArmond, and good evening, parents and community members. It's nice that you're able to join us on this webinar. Again, this is new to us, so hopefully it's going well from your vantage point out there. As everyone said, I am the instructional support teacher, Mrs. Bear, and truly my focus at Farmdale is to support students academically. As Mrs. DeArmond said, I could not be more blessed to work with such a wonderful team of people. We all work together to support the students at Farmdale, no matter what, and it's truly a special place to be. So my role as far as academic is students will see me pushing in and out of classrooms and working with small groups. I may pull students out and work with small groups across all academic areas. Reading, writing, math, spelling, whatever students need to be successful, or a boost that they need, I try to provide. So some reasons why you may reach out to me as a parent, maybe you're just concerned with the schoolwork that your child is completing, or seeming that they're struggling in a certain area, whether it's a letter identification or numbers or counting. Certainly you would go to Mrs. Davis and Mrs. Ames first as their teacher, but always know that there is a team behind them also to not only support you and your child, but the teacher as well. Also, I have a lot of resources too, along with Mrs. DeArmond, that we can share with you as far as having academic concerns. And well, what do you think I should do about this? Or what do you think would help with this? Always here to help with those types of questions and things. And as Mrs. DeArmond said, we are just a phone call away, an email away. We love working together with families at Farmdale. So please never hesitate to reach out to us. And we're always here for you to support you and your little ones.
Here's a screen that shows the contact information for Mrs. DeArmond as well as Mrs. Bear. Please feel free to reach out to any of our team members at any time with questions or concerns. We are here to support you and your child.
And one thing to add, Mrs. Pearson, if you do have any specific concerns about your child already that you're thinking about in the upcoming year, please don't hesitate to send us an email, and we can help you. The sooner the better. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Mrs. Kim Rainier. Kim Rainier is our lead reading specialist and literacy coach in the building. She, along with 3 other reading specialists, lead our reading team. Early literacy is an extremely important focus of our primary grades, and Mrs. Rainier kind of leads the charge in that regard. So I'd like her to talk a little bit about our reading team as well as incoming kindergarten screenings.
Hello, everyone. And again, thank you for participating tonight. As Mrs. Pearson said, we have a great reading team at Farmdale. They are very dedicated and skilled educators. Along with myself as a full-time specialist, we also have Mrs. Buffard. We have our Bitmojis here, and so have a little bit of fun with who we are. We have 2 part-time specialists, Mrs. Hershey and also Mrs. Zellers. They primarily work in the morning, so they'll mostly be working with the morning kindergarten students. Mrs. Buffard and myself will work with morning and afternoon kindergarten students. So now I'm going to present to you some information about this year's kindergarten screenings. As you can see on this slide, we have the dates on the screen. We're going to do 2 dates at the end of April, the 29th and the 30th, and then several dates during the first week of May. The time frame will be between 8:30 and 3:30. Please note, though, that if you're signing up for May 7th, it is an early dismissal, so we'll only be screening up till 1 o'clock that day. So how are you going to sign your students up this year for screening, since normally you would be signing them up in person as we would be meeting tonight? So this year, we're going to use Sign Up Genius. Our secretaries were very helpful in already organizing that for us. At the end of this presentation, you will see the link to the Sign Up Genius where you can select the day and the time that you would like to bring your child in for their screening. It's okay if you don't catch it at the end of this presentation, because it will be emailed to all parents by our secretaries. As long as you have completed registration and your email is within our system, they'll be able to send you the Sign Up Genius link. Also, I have included the Sign Up Genius link in our preschool connections for March, which will be going out next week. So there'll be lots of places to find that link. Also, if anyone has difficulty with the link, again, the secretaries have been very kind and said that you can just call the school and they're happy to register you. They'll let you know what slots are open for which days you prefer, and they'll register you. So lots of ways by contacting the school if you're not able to make the link work or find it. But like I said, there'll be lots of places to find it. So what will you need to bring to the screening? You'll need to bring your photo ID as anytime you would when you're coming to the school. Obviously, you're a kindergarten student. And please bring a mask for the kindergartner and also for yourself. We do have a district policy of not having guests in the building. So please prepare your incoming kindergartner to be ready to separate, to come with Mrs. Rainier or Mrs. Zellers. Mrs. Zellers is also going to be helping during some of the hours that she is working. And depending on how many students we have to screen, we may also recruit Mrs. Bear to help us with some days. So we'll be adding slots if needed, so no worries. There'll be plenty of time, but we'll make sure we get everybody in. This year, we have a little bit of a different type of a screening that we're going to be using. In the past, it took about 15 minutes. So this year, we're planning on 30 minutes to be working with your students. We also have at least 15-minute buffer in between students. Should we run a little bit longer? And I like to take at least 5 minutes or so with parents or whoever the adult is who's bringing the student to chat with you a little bit about the screening when we're finished. So plan on 30 to 40 minutes, 30 for the screening and then a few minutes with me or Mrs. Zellers or Mrs. Bear. I've kind of answered who your child will meet with during the screenings. It'll be a reading specialist or Mrs. Bear. And does your child need to prepare anything for the screening? And the answer is no. It is a screening. So just like if you went for a health screening, you can't really prepare yourself for your blood pressure test or your temperature and those kinds of things. And this is a screening like that where we just want to get to know your students. It helps us to be prepared for them. Just as much as we would like kindergartners to be ready for school, the school also needs to be ready for your child. So by getting to know them a little bit better, their little personalities, and also some of their strengths and needs in their literacy and numeracy skills will help us be better prepared to meet them as they're coming in the door. We do have a brand new screening this year, which is called the PELI. It stands for Preschool Early Literacy Indicators. It's part of the Acadience reading assessment that we use for all students in grades K-6. So it's great because as we collect this data and enter it into the database system, they'll already be in there for when they start kindergarten and we take their first benchmark assessments in the fall. We use a book to do the screening. We'll just share a book, a picture book with the students. And with the picture book, we'll be doing some fun games and activities to test, I won't say test, it's a screening, to look at the types of letters they know in the alphabet. We'll also be looking at if they, how much they can talk about the story with us. Can they talk about some of the events that are happening and the characters and the problem? And we'll be looking at their vocabulary and their oral language development as we're working together, just making a lot of observations as we go. So if you have any questions, just put them in the Q&A and we'll be happy to answer them in the follow-up. And I really look forward to seeing you very soon with your kindergartner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Reinier. I'd also like to introduce to you some of the other faculty members that your child will become familiar with and get to know when they come to school in August. We have 4 special area teachers. We have a physical education teacher, Mr. Bernhardt, a librarian, Mrs. Koenig, a music teacher, Mrs. Sempsey, and our art teacher is Mr. Zadilla. They will go to each of these specials throughout a 6-day cycle and have the opportunity to work in these areas of arts or in physical education. In addition, if your child is in need of speech and language therapy, they will meet Mrs. Miller. For those students that they speak another language or have another language spoken within their home, we have an English as a second language teacher, Mrs. Bear. This is Mrs. Jen Bear. Mrs. Sarah Bear, who you met earlier, is our instructional support team teacher. And finally, we do have a school psychologist who sits on our team as an extra area of consultation, not only for us as school employees, but also for you as parents, if you have any questions about any special needs that your child may have. So you will meet these people as well as the other people that we've introduced today. I just want to, before opening it up for questions, want to just share something that I did not share earlier. And for those parents that are brand new to kindergarten in Hempfield, I want you to be aware of this. We do have a half-day program, a morning or an afternoon program, and transportation is provided to the students in the morning or in the afternoon. Midday transportation is the responsibility of our families. So we ask that you or a family member or friend provide transportation for them at the end of an AM session or upon coming to school for their PM session. Something else that I would like to share with you is our school secretaries, Mrs. J and Mrs. Reisinger, are always here to answer our phones and answer your questions. Mrs. J is a current Farmdale family member. She has a son who attends our school currently, and Mrs. Reisinger had 3 daughters who went through Farmdale. Everyone on this panel that you've met this evening, as well as most of the people who work in our building, are all parents just like you. And so we understand where you're coming from as an incoming kindergarten family. So please, any questions that you have, do not keep them as unknowns. We want you to share them with us so we can make those answers known to you. The more you know about your child's incoming kindergarten experience, the better you are going to feel, and that is going to relay over to your kindergarten student, and they will feel more comfortable as well. A suggestion I have for you prior to coming to school, if you could do this during off school hours or on the weekend, is bring your child to school, walk around the building, go enjoy the playground. Have the students start to realize that this is going to become an important part of their lives. The more that they visit our school and you talk about school, the more comfortable they would be, especially if they are brand new to Farmdale and don't have older siblings that join them. I do work throughout the summer. However, I am in and out of the building. At any time, you can certainly leave a phone message or you can email me. My email address is on this screen, and I will be happy to get back to you to discuss any questions or concerns you may have. Our mantra or slogan or vision, whatever you'd like to call it, is very important to us here at Farmdale, and I want to share it with you this evening. It is all students, all together, all the time. We are a team. The team includes you as family members and all of us here at Farmdale. And by us working together, we can ensure that your child has a positive school experience, not just for academics, but also socially. So at this time, I'm going to ask one of the other panelists if you could please check the Q&A, because as long as I am sharing my screen, I'm unable to see those questions.
All I'm seeing right now is there's one question about if they can wear face shields. And the answer is yes, you may wear a face shield instead of a mask.
And I'll elaborate on that. Our faculty and staff members, we wear masks. And our students, we encourage them all to wear masks. But if your student needs to wear a face shield, they are certainly permitted to do that. The important thing is that whether you're wearing a mask or a face shield, any type of face covering, it must cover your nose as well as your mouth. We do provide mask breaks or face shield breaks throughout the day when students are socially distant and it's safe for them to take those breaks. But the remainder of the day, they are expected to have those on at all times. Questions regarding masks and face coverings, in August, it's difficult to answer where we will be at that time. But we in Hempfield, communication is extremely important, and we will be sharing information throughout the summer and as we head into August about all of our safety protocol as we welcome students back for the upcoming school year.
The next question says, when will they find out if their child will be AM or PM?
Okay. At this time, I do not have a date to share with you regarding an AM or PM session, but I understand that that's an important question because those of you who are working families or those of you who have other responsibilities with students attending other schools or have other responsibilities would like to know for transportation reasons. At this time, I can't give you that exact date. Typically, we try to give that information before the end of our school year, so it should be towards the beginning of June, no later than the middle of June. Are there other questions that you would like to share in our Q&A section that we can answer this evening?
There's only one other question. It seems like maybe more of a personal question just about transporting items to and from that maybe Mrs. Rodema could answer as far as a student having asthma.
Okay, yes. As Mrs. Rodema said, it's important for any type of medication that is brought to the school by the parent or guardian. The student should not carry that in their backpack. If there is something that the student needs to carry on them, then also that needs to be brought to our nurse's attention so we know if meds need to be on the person who will be carrying that in their backpack. And we would also then want to meet for something called a 504 for any student that may need to carry an EpiPen or an inhaler. That would be an important thing for us to know and probably more personal to discuss by phone or in person. So I would ask that you give the school a call at 717-898-5595 and that you would ask to speak to me, Tricia Pearson, the principal, or our school nurse, Deb Rodema.
Actually a few more questions. Mrs. Rainier, if a student doesn't speak English, is that a problem for the screening?
So I would probably need an interpreter or someone like Mrs. Bear alongside with me who could translate some things so we could, just check some basic numeracy things. So I wrote the name down and then we'll make a note of that to see if she'll be available during the time. And it'll be a limited screening, but it'll be important still to meet and work together as much as we can.
The next question is about being a walker to school and if they're permitted to walk to a babysitter from school.
Okay. Yes, Farmdale does have 2 neighborhoods that are adjacent to our building, and those students are considered walkers. They are not assigned buses. Most family members walk their children to and from school. If your child is going to be walking by themselves, we would want something in writing showing that they have permission to be able to do that by themselves, or that they will be walking, if they're an afternoon kindergartner, possibly with an older neighbor or sibling. Are they allowed to go to another home? I would encourage, again, you to share that information with us at school so we can talk specifically about the plan, and that way we can ensure the safety of your student.
Mrs. Pearson, I will also add to that, if your child is an AM kindergarten student, we do need to have an adult actually come to pick them up. They are required to hold the bus tag so that we know exactly who to release the child to at our AM kindergarten dismissal time.
And Mrs. Ames, you had mentioned the car rider tag. If you are picking up your child from AM kindergarten, it is really helpful for you to have our car rider tag in your window. And that way we know that the student who is being picked up by that car is supposed to be. So those car rider tags are given to you, and then you share them with the people that you trust to pick up your child. Without a car rider tag, what we would need to do is see the license of the person that's picking up to make sure that they are on the emergency contact list. If someone who's not on the emergency contact list is picking up the child, we need you to send in a note ahead of time with their name, and we would verify that that individual is the person picking them up by checking their license. The same applies for the end of the day pickup. We do have a car rider line with a lot of families, especially now, picking up their children. So you would need to have that car rider tag in the car, or the person needs to be able to show us their license. Again, this is for the safety of your children.
The next question is asking if we are anticipating an in-person preschool connection. They said that they understand that new students had the opportunity to ride on a school bus, see the classrooms prior to the first day of school, and they would like that to happen.
Okay. At this time, we do not have plans for an in-person preschool connection and bus ride. That is something that we can certainly consider as time goes on and we take into consideration current guidelines and safety protocol. That is not to say that we couldn't plan something prior to the start of the school year. You know, August, while it seems very close, it's also, there's a lot of time and a lot of things can happen between now and then. So to answer that question again, we do not have plans for that, but we definitely see the value in that. And we would love to be able to provide those experiences to students. As I had mentioned earlier, the more your child is able to come to school, the more they feel comfortable. And right now, what's available to you is after school hours or evenings, visiting the school and just walking around, maybe peeking in windows and playing on the playground. But over the summer, we typically offer summer library hours. Hopefully we'll be able to do that this summer. We also have something called Sneak a Peek, which is a day prior to our first day of school, where families are able to come into the building to visit their classrooms and meet their teachers. Again, we're very hopeful that we'll be able to do that, but right now that's still a little bit too far away, and we need to just see where we are with regard to the pandemic. And again, safety is always our number one concern. So more information to come, and all of that information will be posted using various forms of district communication, such as our website. On the Farmdale link, you can sign up for something called our e-news. You can visit that by selecting Farmdale on the Hempfield School District website, and you can sign up by putting in your email. And that's a way you can get access to information about our plans that may be taking place over the summer, as well as driving by our school and seeing our school sign.
The next question asks about if a child's going to a daycare center, does the daycare center need to have one of the car rider tags?
Mrs. Ames or Mrs. Davis, do you want to answer the question about midday transportation by daycare providers?
Sure. We are usually notified as to which children will be riding the daycare van. So no, we do not usually ask for the car rider tags in that instance, but we will be definitely checking with the parents in August to be sure that that's the means of transportation. And if it's Monday through Friday or just certain days of the week, and we will certainly make note of that and expect the van drivers to come on those designated days.
At the end of the day, we do have a couple of daycare providers, daycares coming to pick up students in vans or cars. And it is extremely helpful that we know what their specific plan is, especially if it's not a daily event. So communicating with the classroom teacher, and they share that information with our school office. We have a staff Google Doc that every day at the end of the school day, teachers are encouraged to look at the Google Doc to see if there's any changes in children's transportation. So it's helpful to know ahead of time, but if something changes during the school day, we encourage you to call the school office. Do not send an email because our teachers are with students during the day and may not have access to their email. So call the school office, we'll change it on the Google Doc, which then the teachers will see at the end of the day. That way we know if we're sending a child home in a daycare van, by car, or by bus.
At this time, those are the only questions we have. Are there any other questions?
Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We hope that this evening was very informative. I am glad you were able to meet these really special people that I feel blessed to work with every day. I am a Hempfield parent. I have 3 children, 2 of which have graduated from the Hempfield School District, and I have a daughter in high school. So I have sat in your seat as an incoming kindergarten parent, and I understand maybe some of the reservations and questions that you may have, but let me tell you that if I was able to have my children come and be in the hands of these people that you've met today, I would feel very comfortable and blessed. In fact, my youngest child actually had Mrs. Davis for kindergarten many years ago. So these ladies are incredible. I can tell you that our staff and faculty, all of those professional employees, as well as support staff, truly do care about kids. And we really do all believe that all students all together all the time is the way to go. So we welcome you as part of our Farmdale family, and we look forward to meeting you soon, hopefully in person, and working together with you during the 2021-22 school year. Again, I encourage you to visit the Hempfield School District webpage, sign up for our Farmdale e-news, and call us with any questions that you may have. Have a wonderful evening.
We did get 2 more questions. Do we want to answer those quick before we close?
I would love to answer those before we close.
Is there a list of school materials to buy for kids?
Okay. All materials your child will need can be provided by our school. In fact, we even have a lot of donations of backpacks, if that would be helpful to any families. You really do not need any school supplies the first day. Our kindergarten teachers will have everything your child needs. If your child would like to do some fun back to school shopping, they certainly may. And I'll turn it over to Mrs. Ames and Mrs. Davis if there are certain items that you would say would be fine if the child brings with them on their first day.
I would say the main thing would be a backpack, as you mentioned. So if you are able to provide one, that's great. If not, or the school does have a nice supply for you. And pretty much everything else we will have that your child will need.
Yes, if I know that it's so fun to do some back to school shopping and get some of those school supplies. So I would encourage you that if that's something that you would really like to do with your child, you can then have them prepare those supplies to remain at home in case of some homework or some learning at home time or other kinds of activities that we may be sending home.
That's a great idea.
All right, and I believe the last questions are, what is the bullying policy, and should a parent send extra clothes in case a child has an accident?
I'll answer the second question. If Mrs. Rodham was here, she would have answered that. But we have a lot of donated clothing that we have in our health room. So in the case of an accident, whether it's a spillage of, water that they brought, or they fell down at recess and their pants, something happened to them, or some other type of accident, we do have backup clothing. If you have a child that you are concerned that they may have an accident, they want a spare pair of clothing, you can certainly send them in their backpack as well. You could just keep them in the backpack. Regarding bullying, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. DeArmond, our school counselor. She and I, as well as classroom teachers and the entire staff, are diligent about getting to know when there's problems and trying to help students to learn how to resolve those on their own, or to have us help mediate. But Mrs. DeArmond, do you want to speak to bullying and some of the things that we do?
Absolutely. We take bullying very seriously. And I think an important clarification is in kindergarten, there's going to be problems between students that we're going to work through. But bullying is certainly something that we take very seriously, because it means it is pervasive, it's ongoing, and it's certainly something that we want to stop as soon as we learn about it. So if there is ever any concern about bullying, please let us know as soon as possible. Mrs. Pearson and I work very closely together in investigating and talking to witnesses and learning all about the situation, so that we can make sure to address it appropriately and make sure that you as a parent would be notified if your child, if they were being bullied, or if they were bullying. So we really take it very seriously and do our very best to address it as soon as possible.
We handle all concerns in a very respectful fashion. And if you're sharing something with us, as much as possible, we want that to be confidential as we go about handling that, because we know that sometimes parents and students are very concerned about sharing things for fear that it will get back, and maybe there's going to be some type of reciprocal issues that occur. And we want to make sure that parents feel safe contacting us. So we definitely want to know if there's situations that are going on. I'd just like to reiterate what Mrs. DeArmond said, that sometimes we use the word bullying when it may not in fact be bullying. Bullying does mean that it's ongoing and pervasive. There are going to be conflicts. There's conflicts in all aspects of all of our lives. And what we want to do is to help students learn how to address that in a healthy way through words. And when they can't quite find the words, we want them to have an adult that they can go to, and we can help guide them. Since you're not here, we want to help them. But if there are issues that are going on, we want to keep you in the loop as well, so that way you can follow through in communicating that with your child to help them get along better with friends as well. Please, the important thing is, if we don't know about it, we can't do something about it. So bring it to our attention, and we can work together with you as a team to make sure your child's feeling comfortable and happy about coming to school each day.
All right, and there's one last question. Will there be opportunities for parents to volunteer in the classroom?
If you want to say a normal school year, we do have many different opportunities in which family members who have clearances are able to come into the building, whether that be working in the classroom with the classroom teacher or attending classroom celebrations. But the clearances do need to be current and in accordance with what our school district requires and be on file. This current school year, we have not allowed outside family members to enter the building. We meet them in the vestibule area just for safety protocol. So I'm really hoping that in the future that we're able to welcome people into the building and be able to support and encourage our children by working with the classroom teachers. More to come on that.
All right, and that's all the questions. We did get a few thank yous.
Well, and right back at you. Thank you. We really are looking forward to meeting you and your children. And we will see you hopefully sooner than the first day of school, August 24th. But in the meantime, again, the information is right in front of you. If you have a question or want to reach one of the staff members that you met this evening virtually, you can always let me know, and then I can forward your email or your phone call to them so they can reach out to you as well. Have a wonderful evening and stay safe.